Welcome. BC here. I'm so excited to be here. I'm sitting here with two of my good friends and brother and sister. And I wanted to just spend an episode on this podcast to invite people into the Traveling Good, to the story. I know we have a website, we have a GoFundMe, we have a school community. There's like almost 10 years of history into this vision. And a lot of people asking questions. How do we come to your city? How do we bring this to Europe? How do we come to Canada? How do we come to Mexico? And so I want to answer all questions that we receive every single day, and just let people invited into what we're doing and what the vision is and where it birthed from and then where we hoped it can go. So to start off, Julia is here and Leo is here. And these two, Julia and I go back from LA days. We used to host events together in LA that highlighted nonprofits, that highlighted her nonprofit and her community she was building around dance therapy and movement. And then Leo and I met recently in Charlotte, and his whole heart is business and social good and entrepreneurship. And then I'm like in the between these two vortex, this most like spiritual, divine angel and this most masculine, incredible man that holds me down as an anchor and keeps me up in the sky. And so a long time ago, I was a humanitarian filmmaker, and I was traveling the world telling stories of philanthropy. Like just every time I heard a story of a nonprofit and how it was founded, I was 20 years old living in the Philippines. And I would sit with all these nonprofits around the Philippines that helped kids go from homeless, like on the street, into like slums, into schools, and get education and give them a vision and dream. And every single time I heard one of these stories of how this nonprofit was founded, I like cried, and I felt so much hope and so much inspiration. I was like, wait, there's people out there who all they care about is these little boys in this village in the Philippines that don't have any parents. And every time I heard a story, it just changed my belief system about the world, about humanity, about what's possible to care for a human that lives across the world. And so I picked up a camera when I was 20 years old, and I started just filming these little stories. And I have some clips from when I was 20. I had these huge sideburns. It's kind of embarrassing. I had like literally sideburns down to here. I looked like Wolverine. And I'm going around these villages in the Philippines. And I originally made these videos so my mom back home and my family, my friends, this was before Instagram, could watch this video and cry like I'm crying and be inspired like I'm being inspired. So I started editing videos and sending them across on Facebook to my family, and they would cry and they would get emotional. And I kept telling these stories of good. And I knew it was changing the way I lived my life. It was changing the way I approached my life. It was changing my brain chemistry on how I've dealt with mental health and insecurities and jealousy and doubt and fears on who I am in this world. Feeling like I never belonged. I was bullied. I never fit in school. I didn't have a real group of friends until I was like 27 years old. And I never knew where I belonged. I wasn't good at school, grades, or sports. And that was the only two doors my culture and my world gave me. And so when I learned about passion and purpose and volunteering and service, I was like, oh my God, I want the world to know about this. So I went on a long journey becoming a filmmaker, telling stories of nonprofits, humanitarian work in nearly 100 countries around the world. Just spending my whole 20s trying to inspire people to get involved and have hope in a better world. And I kept getting messages from people on social media saying, oh, I wish I can go to Asia and Africa and help people. And I kept responding to these people, you don't have to go anywhere. There's nonprofits in your backyard, wherever you live. If you live in Kansas, if you live in Idaho, if you live anywhere, there's nonprofits that serve people, that serve nature, that serves animals. Anywhere you live, you can go get involved and have a purpose. You do not have to travel across the world to have purpose. And I'm going to prove it to you. And so one day I thought of the Traveling Good, and I was like, I'm going to get an RV. I'm going to go all around the US. I'm going to show people they can volunteer locally in their communities. So I got an RV. I filled it with all my friends and people I mentor. We went to 25 cities in 2018, and we highlighted hundreds of nonprofits through 25 events, raised money for charities, did random acts of kindness. And then I put it on the back burner. I was exhausted. We traveled for 3 months and we finished the tour, and I was just so exhausted. But ever since that happened, I wanted to do it again. And so last year, political divide happening in the world, war happening in the world, social media, AI, just everyone becoming so against each other, left versus right versus wrong. And it was just horrible. And I didn't know what to do with the energy. So I would get on social media, something would trigger me about politicians or corruption, and I would want to repost something, and I would want to post something negative, and I would want to repost something trying to prove my point that I'm wrong and I need to bring you to my side. And I was just getting so like the anger and the sadness. I would cry, I would yell, I would pray. I didn't know what to do with it. And God was like, well, create what you wish existed. Bring back the Traveling Good. And so I tried to avoid it because I was like, traveling good 2.0. Oh my God, I have a family now. I don't know what that tour scares me. Like, that's a big deal. I was so exhausted the first tour. I was by myself. I mean, I had my friends, but I was the one leading everything. And every time I meditated, every time I prayed, every time I got triggered by something online, God was like, dude, it's right in front of you. Create what you wish existed. People are feeling triggered and isolated. And you're not going to sit here and just add to the void. Like, I want to repost things that make other people mad and make people feel like I'm right and they're wrong. And God's like, wait, we're all on the same team. We all care about each other. And there's way more good happening in the world than bad. And BC, your mission is to go highlight all the good. So every single time someone gets triggered by social media, corruption, war, politics, they can just go, the world is ending, the world's hopeless, and the world's like, why should I care about the world? But then there's millions of people doing good every single day that care. And this is like my dharma. So 11/11, I'm doing this breathwork meditation, and it's just a beautiful day to like, it's like kind of a portal. 11/11, it's like numerology. And it's by myself. I'm just doing this breathwork, and the traveling good is like right in front of my face, and I could not avoid it any longer. And finally, 11/12, I call 3 of my friends, and all 3 of them are like, dude, you should do it. We're going to do whatever we can to help you make it happen. 11/12, this guy DMs me on Instagram. I didn't know who he was. He DMs me and he goes, hey man, I have an Airbnb you can use if you want to host retreats. Come check it out. We're having a Friendsgiving tonight. So I go to his Friendsgiving the same week that I get this download. Crazy. We're chatting around the fire. And then he goes, oh, I own an RV. And he's like, oh, I got a production company. And I work with a bunch of startups and visionary things that want to build community. I have an app that builds community. And I was literally, dude, like sitting around this fire, like this is not happening. I could not believe what was happening.
It was crazy, man. It truly was so synchronistic, like, and from all different angles.
Yeah. And so that was a whole portal vortex. And then you visited a year or so ago to my house, and you have an amazing nonprofit. You have a movement where you do sound or dance and therapy. And we hosted nonprofit events in LA together, and we started talking about the traveling good even before I met you, even before the 11/11 portal. So there's like all of this stuff happening, and I cannot deny it any longer. So then finally I launched this GoFundMe a few months ago, and it's just one cross-pollination after the next. It is hard to find people that not only care about others, but will do anything to make it come true and like almost like sacrifice a lot for it. And so Julia years ago started this dance therapy movement. Like, you're a therapist and you help people with mental health, and then you found dance. And then you were like, wait, dancing moves energy and releases trauma and stored emotion almost better than anything else. Like, it's somatic work. And so can you talk about like the wave, how it started, how that birthed, and then we'll get to like Alma?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, first I just want to comment on like when I hear you talk, it's like where your awareness goes, energy flows. And so we're really trying to get people's awareness towards helping, towards good, towards unity. And it's just so much easier than putting our awareness towards what's not working. Let's actually make things work. And then the energy goes there. And now we're actually putting our life force energy, our sacred life force energy towards what we want, not just giving it to debates or, you know, being frustrated or just in grief, which all of those emotions have a place. But when we get into action, I love the saying that God meets you at the point of action. Mm-hmm. That's where, and then and it's like so many miracles. Like when you're talking about your connection on 11/11, like that's happened so many times to me with the wave, with Alma. I would just be out there. I would just show up week after week. People would come. I mean, literally, so how it started was my own grief. I lost my father, and I would go to and dance my grief. I would also dance in a way with nature to connect, and I would get like messages from him, or a song would come on and it would have the perfect lyrics to inspire me that day. And my friends joined me once and told me to invite people and to do this like officially. And I laughed also at them. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm doing this for my own spiritual practice. And my friend, April, she went, no, seriously, there's something here. And so I just one day decided to announce on Instagram that I was going to be at this location in Venice, on Venice Pier, Thursday morning. If you want to come dance with me, come. So it's really started with like 3 people. 9 people, maybe. Gosh. And we all had iPods, like had our own headphones. We'd press play. What year? This is 2016.
Wow.
So 10 years ago. And sometimes we didn't even think about pressing play at the same time. Then I started making playlists and we'd press play at the same time. But this was one of those moments where God meets you in the action, because one of the people that kept coming, he told me, I got to connect you with this guy, Murray Hittery. He's a pianist that also went through a lot of grief. He lost his sister. She died in front of his eyes in a motorcycle accident, and he decided that he was going to stop. He was in tech, and he's decided he's going to go full time into music and use music as a therapy and spread that. He's a classical trained pianist. So how could you make music cool, like classical music for that in our day and with all the So he found, being that he's a techie guy, he's like, I'm going to stream my piano through silent disco headphones. And he started to put his piano in beautiful places and stream his music through the headphones. And people would have these beautiful, meditative, really powerful experiences in nature to his piano. Wow. And so I was connected to him, and he just found out more about me. He's like, what are you? I just loved him because he was like, okay, forget like all of this stuff. Like, who are you? And what are you passionate about? And what do you care about? And I told him about my work with nursing homes, and that I love going to visit the elderly and bring connection and dance and music to them. And I told him about the work I do in addiction facilities and working with kids through art and dance therapy. And he's like, I love that. I've always wanted to perform in a nursing home. It's like I could make that happen tomorrow. So we did. We got into action. I got us him to perform in a nursing home. We got headphones on every single senior, the ones that couldn't leave their bedside, because the ones that can are the ones that normally come to my group, the ones that are somewhat functional, but the ones that are bedbound can't. And so I share this whole thing because once we were in that moment of action, and he saw and he felt the power of bringing these senior citizens music and how they came to life and how it united everyone. I mean, he literally tears, to the point of tears down his face. He's like, I want to support you. And he gave me these headphones that united everyone. Wow. And the next week, it was like 20 people were there with the headphones. I learned that I could connect a microphone and guide. So all of my years of having a master's of dance therapy and guiding movement, I couldn't believe it. I could actually guide through the mic, and it just started to grow. Have you done silent disco before?
I haven't. But you know what's
You've never done a silent disco?
I haven't.
Oh my God, it's changed my life.
I mean, I've seen footage.
No,
and
I know.
It's amazing, and I think like what I'm thinking about, it's really profound because music is obviously a vibration, right? It's on a frequency, but so are emotions. Like human emotions, we're all vibrational beings, and emotions carry a frequency and carry a vibration. And so a lot of the times people that are experiencing grief or, sadness, guilt, shame, anger, these negative emotions, they're on a lower frequency. And the power of music and vibration to be able to help pull that frequency and vibration into higher frequency emotions and vibrations like love, gratitude, joy, all of these high frequency vibrations, and the power that music can really do to like raise a human frequency and human vibration. It's powerful. Yeah.
And what we do is it's a wave, and that's exactly why it's called a wave. It's a wave of a spectrum of emotions that exists in the human condition. Also frequency and energy. That's who we are. We're energetic beings. And also the waves of the ocean, which is where this movement was birthed. Beautiful. And we do it all. We put a song in there that will evoke sadness and grief, but it's a 3-minute song. Just feel the feeling for 3 minutes, so you don't have to keep feeling it for years, 3 years, or 30 years. So we feel the feelings of anger, of sadness, and then we always bring it to the place of gratitude and resolve and hope. So we finish the wave always on a high note, on a hopeful note, but we don't bypass just the human experience. So there might actually be a song that's dedicated to like what's going on in your life and dance that.
Energy and motion, that's what an emotion is. So you let that flow, so you create the space for something else.
So at one point, Julia had 100 people every Monday, every single week dancing on the beach.
Because he just to finish that story, he ended up donating 100. That's exactly what happened. It kept 50. I was like, Murray, I need more headphones. He's like, here you go. Here's 100. And for a year, he sponsored me. Now, I never meant this to be a business. I just went there from my heart and danced on the beach for like just truth. Like it just felt true to me to do that. And I was God met me at the point of action and sent me Murray. And then the same thing happened. I was like, it would be really great to have this documented. Charity Pants, Joe, reaches out to me randomly on Instagram. Hey, I saw that you do this work with the elderly. I'd love to capture it. So just kind of like how you came in after your meditation. So these miracles really happen when you are, I've learned this concept of like when you're in your why, when you really know your why. And my why at the time was loneliness. I felt lonely. My dad just died and he was like the rock in my life. And the last thing he ever said to me was, Julia, remember, you're never alone. And I spent all these years afterwards trying to understand what that meant. And BC, you're one of those people that teach me that to this day. Like BC shows up at my door like while I'm going through it, or like I was going through it and you're like, hey, come here, like just come. And I flew to Charlotte when I was going through a hard time, and I was you reminded me I'm not alone. And so that was my why, you know, to help people, and music unites us. And yeah.
So Julia started the wave. It was this silent disco dance movement on the beach in Venice. Then it went to Miami and then Austin and kind of went all around the world. But then she has this nonprofit called Alma Cares, which was giving back to senior homes. So when we think of volunteering, the first thing we think of is beach cleanup, maybe planting trees, maybe fostering animal care, maybe feeding homeless. You know, when you go around and ask people, what kind of volunteer work have you done, or what do you want to do, or what do you even know about? I would say the last on that list would potentially be volunteer nursing homes, elderly people that have been forgotten from society, that have been kind of brushed under the rug of like, all right, they're old, they can't benefit us, they can't make us money, let's just push them over here. The happiest countries in the world, Japan, the happiest countries and the countries that live the longest, they keep the elderly involved with the children. And they went to this area of Japan where it has the most people to live past 100 years old. And it's because the retirement homes or the elderly will go hang out with the kids once or twice a week. And the elders spend time with the kids. And then they live over 100. Most people that live over 100, centennials.
It's the power of community and
just the power of wisdom and culture, generational, and just being like, we're going to be there someday. Every single one of us will be in a retirement home. I pray to God we have people that will come dance with us. So I work with a nonprofit called Wish of a Lifetime. So for 14 years, every Valentine's Day, we would get hundreds of volunteers and deliver roses. So then when we heard of Alma Cares, we threw a party in LA to raise money. And then we got 50 of our friends, went to 5 or 6 different retirement homes, handed out roses, did the silent disco dance party. And what we notice in our friends that have great success, maybe they've won financially, business, fame, and they're still empty inside. And then they're volunteering with us and they're crying. And they're sitting with this 90-year-old just weeping their eyes. And they're like, man, I forgot about it. I forgot about the why. I forgot about my grandma. I forgot about the purpose. I forgot about my family. And so when we're in service, it's just the most humble vibration we can be in, where it's just reminds us that time isn't money and energy isn't this and productivity doesn't mean I'm big, but it's like, wow, we're just missing the point of it all. And the world there's trash on the beach. How many times do we go jump in the ocean and then run back to our towel and we don't look at all the trash and clean it? How many times do we just do these things without being mindful? And so I think the goal of the movement that we're hopefully trying to create is not only connection and community and dance party, but then these volunteer parties where it's like, yo, we can dance and have fun while giving back, while raising money, while like cleaning the beach. Wow.
It's such a bonding experience to go volunteer together with a friend or with a stranger. You become friends because you realize the heart of this human is so pure, and it's so wonderful to surround yourself with people that care. I mean, think about a time when someone just helped you for no reason, like came to help you move, or, you know, like sent you soup when you were sick, or, you know, so it's just the smallest things make such a big difference. And, you know, what I realized so Alma started because my dad passed away, I became the caregiver of my grandparents, and I would visit them at the nursing home that I ended up having to place my grandparents in. And there would be zero visitors. Like there's a visitor's book that you have to sign. No signatures. I kept coming and I realized, wow, like there's no one coming here, and they're just sitting staring at the wall. Some of them are crying out, not being helped. So I just decided, you know what? I know how to do expressive arts therapy, dance therapy. Let me just do this at my grandparents' nursing home. And so I alone started to do the groups. And it would change the entire energy of the whole space. Even the nurses would be surprised seeing certain seniors that never would participate become alive and like active, and and then just like brought up the energy for everyone, including the staff. And I would leave feeling better too, because I went there thinking I'm helping them. You know, like, oh, I'm going to help the poor like seniors that are isolated. but then I would leave feeling better. I noticed all the staff felt better. And that's when I thought, I got to bring people into this. I got to bring my friends. I got to invite volunteers here because something's happening to me. And that was the first moment where I realized it was actually a mutual beneficial thing that was occurring.
Because we feed off of each other's energy, right? And like the part of us that, you know, is human is the part that feels like that's, you know, in an AI world, what does AI, you know, post AI world look like? We're going to be valuing human intelligence much more. And that's like community,
human
connection,
emotion.
Human
it's
emotion.
not even intelligence anymore. We've reached
feeling.
the peak of intelligence.
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
like we need to return back to the heart, back to the service. Yeah.
Totally. And I think that's like when you're with people, you can start to feel that you can feel more deeply and you can start to create this resonance. Because when people enter a room together and they're high vibration individuals or they're, you know, feeling, you know, higher frequency emotions, that creates that resonance. And that's part of like what an activation and what like bringing people together does, is it creates that resonance that hopefully with the traveling good can not only just activate these communities, but if we set up the right frameworks, can continue to allow that energy to continue to occur.
Like leave a trail behind where people are like, we want this to keep going as we keep going to the next cities. And so we're looking to also create a continued, like an easy access for people to know, oh yeah, I'm going to volunteer here now on Tuesdays, but they might have not known about that before. So we really want to, right? That's one of the intentions, is to help people continue to have this part of their culture, like the way that you go to the gym, you know, you go volunteer.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Sorry, but yeah, once you serve enough, you vibrate at gratitude at all times. You're just like, wait a second, there's a hospital in Phoenix, Arizona, where it's like 100 3-year-old and 4-year-old kids that are battling through leukemia and cancer. And so you start to just align in this gratitude of like, not trying to compare your status to theirs, but just be mindful that like, man, if you can live your life in gratitude and then you serve others, it's just very humbling in a world of ego, of money and time, of I'm built this business myself, or I built my identity, or I'm this and I'm separate. Man, we forget that like then we forgot about the world. That's where we're at right now.
Or we're on hold for a little too long with the customer service and get so frustrated, you know, and then it does put things into perspective.
Yeah. And I think to give people this perspective of like, I always would say like changing the world is like a Rubik's Cube. And every color of the Rubik's Cube is a different color. So I don't care if you care about water or kids in Africa getting education or dogs that are foster dogs. Like you just got to choose a color. And as you choose a color, we all start to turn it and figure it out, how to like make the world a better place. But you're going to choose either nature, animals, or humans. And you just choose one of those things, and none of them are right or wrong, but you got to have some sort of purpose that there's a bigger thing than you. And you want to give your kids or your grandkids a world that is better. And if we just continue to live up here or with like quantifiable, you know, formula, calculated everything, look where we are today.
Yeah. And something else that service does is it allows you to feel like you're a contribution to the whole. Some people just feel like they're you know, what's the point of my existence? Or maybe your job, you're not so fulfilled by, like, what's the point of selling this device or whatever you're doing, you know? But then you go and you help someone and you feel, oh, wow, there is a purpose to my existence. I can help.
BC, what do you say? It's not like individual, you can achieve individual greatness, but your purpose is only in the service of others. What is that?
I always say anyone can accomplish their passion alone, but you'll never be able to accomplish your purpose alone. So I could become a photographer. I could do whatever I want with my passion, but your purpose leaves you so humble where you need to ask for help.
That's right.
And so like I became an amazing videographer and I loved it. It was my passion. I've done other things in my life, but then this purpose comes, it's traveling good. And I'm just like, but God, I'm not good at this kind of community building and nonprofits. I'm not good at this kind of business and structure community. And so you have to learn how to ask for help. So if you ever get a compliment for your purpose, you can only point to others and God. Like you can only be like, yo, I wish I created the traveling good, but literally it's nothing without these donations, without this team. And so I'm just trying to teach people how to think outside the box and not just, you can start your business. If you have a t-shirt company, if you have an app, if you have a business, that's amazing. Could you have your business give back, or could you have your team go volunteer once a month? And so, yeah, I think, and it all comes down to happiness. Like you look at the happiest people in the world, you look at the spectrum of how unhappy certain people are, and purpose gives your life color. And you're living a life through a lens of only myself. It's black and white. It's all black and white. And then you're like, wait, why are those people volunteering, cleaning trash, having way more fun than me? I want to make purpose popular. I want to make purpose so magnetic. The revolution is going to be irresistible. And so when we're dancing and raising money, when we're dancing and cleaning the beach, when we're dancing and packing food for the homeless, whatever it is, people are just going to start looking around. Because I think this is why people are bored with religion and churches, because all they do is talk. And God bless, whatever religion you believe or whatever church. But so much of it is just talking. Every Sunday we talk. Every Sunday we talk. And it's like action, you, and then God. And I don't know. There's nothing else that matters. I don't care how smart you are, how many books you've read. I don't care how many podcasts you listen to. I only look at the fruit in your life. I only look at the purpose in your life until I start actually listening. I'm really curious on who you help and what you've built in this life. And then I'm going to ask you a million questions. But I think it's like, what you do for yourself might inspire me, but what you do for others inspires me. Or aspire? Impresses me.
Both of them.
Either way. Oh, impresses me. Yeah. But anyway, I think so. We're on a mission and we want to do this tour. And truthfully, I want to think about like if I were to die someday, I want this legacy of like multiple RVs going around anywhere, and they're just a mobile mission for good. And they go to disaster areas. And yeah, we have FEMA or whatever it is, government sometimes helping, but like the power of the people. We got to get back to tribes. We got to get back to villages. We got to get back to community. And my favorite thing about these dance parties is there's 150 people dancing and we're having the time of our life. We're meeting new people, we're connecting, and then we go, hey guys, hope you're having a good time. We're gonna have 20 nonprofits come on stage and share what they do. And then you have 20 nonprofits come and you have, oh, my dad, died in war, so I made this veterans fund. Oh, my dog died last year, so I made this nonprofit that we play with foster. And you just hear story after story of emotion, and then you go serve and volunteer and donate. The only way to change someone's mind is through their heart. And so in a world where we're trying to change people's minds to vote like me, to believe like me, to have my religion, it's like you're not going to change anyone's mind with your brain. It does not change anyone's mind. You have to change their heart. And so I know you might have a religion and a belief system politically, but we're never going to see different eye to eye and with intellect. But when I know what happened to your dad and what happened to your mom and why you believe what you believe, oh, that's why you believe that God. That's why you believe that political view. I'm like, oh man, I'm going to cry with you. I'm going to pray with you, And that's what we have to get back to is everyone believes something because of their heart, of their pain or their healing or their purpose. And so I think we want to start that conversation. We want to make a documentary around it. We want to visit cities that no one's ever heard of. Yeah, we might go to Atlanta. Yeah, we'll go to Austin. But if someone's literally like, yo, come to DeRidder, Louisiana, we're like, I have this nonprofit that helps cancer kids. We're like, we're there.
Even better.
Yeah, even better. And so the Traveling Good Tour, it's starting really rogue. We're starting it super just like by the power of the people. We're asking for donations. We're starting just like, yes, we can go to brands and sponsors, and we will do that eventually, and we want to. But I think we're just like, yo, let's see if the people will help us start this so that when we hit the tour and we host these events, all the 100 people who donate or 1,000 people who donate have a fingerprint on it. And they're like, wow, that I live somewhere. Like the Europeans are donating thousands of dollars, people in Europe. And so people in Europe are going to like see our videos and our events and the nonprofits we highlight, and they're going to go, wow, I have a fingerprint on that. Like I'm part of that movement all the way in America. I've never been to America and they're saying that,
And not everyone, I think everyone can create some time to go volunteer, but maybe you are full in your life and you have a family, you're just a new mom and you can't go, and your service is to serve your family at the moment. Just being able to know that there's other people doing it on your behalf, supporting that mission. I also want to comment, BC, like as you're talking, I can't help but hear how when you talk about these nonprofits, how all of them really come from pain, right? It's and one of the most beautiful things, I'm pretty sure, I forgot who I heard this from. She's escaping my mind right now. Belonging. She speaks on belonging.
Rada? Brene Brown.
Yes, Brene Brown. Pretty sure it was Brene Brown that said that grief is leftover love with nowhere to go. And so you see that when you put your grief into action, into creating a community, a nonprofit, a movement, your grief transforms into love. It's the love that's moving and it's being put somewhere where it can go. And that's how this world works. It actually, like, grief is a part of what helps the world evolve. And so we're in a time of grief in our country and our world. So let's pour that and channel that into good.
Pain becoming your purpose.
Amen.
Pain becoming your purpose. From angst into art. Think about music that's written from heartbreak. All of it.
I think it comes down to also, like, I'm so grateful I have influence in an audience. And it's like, I I couldn't care less anymore. It gets boring, where it's like, man, I want to highlight these nonprofits don't have resources. They don't have a videography team. They don't have a marketing team. They don't have a website team. So that's where I started my journey. And I want to continue to get brands that are spending $100,000 at Coachella to get popular. I'm like, yo, give us some budget and we're going to go throw parties with purpose, highlight charities. And I just want to let people know about the good in the world, because we obviously highlight the news, the media, the negativity. And it's like, where's the good news channel? Where do you go to find
I always follow, there's like, on Instagram, they have good news.
But it's like not that mainstream or popular.
No, not at all.
And so, I don't know, we got to make purpose popular. We got to make it almost like irresistible to where
service popular.
Service popular, yeah.
Being of service, I think, it's so rewarding. And I always, we have a bank account, a financial bank account, but we have a spiritual bank account too.
Yeah.
And you can really feel when your spiritual bank account is depleted and when it's getting full. And you're not leaving this planet when you die. That bank account, that financial bank is not coming with you.
Yeah.
But your spiritual bank account is.
Yeah. And it's left here, but your ripples up beyond it. And I'm always telling people, like, people spend tens of thousands of dollars dating in relationships. I'm like, go serve, go volunteer, and you'll find someone with like a humble, you'll find, like, my best friends came from volunteering. My wife came from our nonprofit parties. Like, she was DJing the party we were hosting together. And so if you're confused on who to date and like even that world, just go serve. And then you're going to just look up and go, dang, this girl comes every week to serve this community. And like, that's just such a good place to figure out what kind of person you want to be with.
Wow. What a good idea for a dating app.
I know, right?
Like volunteer and with singles, volunteer with singles. That's great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So yeah. And then it's kind of just learning how community is built. I think right now we're trying to figure out the culture of community. Mm-hmm. And with the app that you have and you've built on like how to just bring people together. This is going to sound funny when I say it out loud. I'm an introvert at heart. I know that sounds weird. I obviously look very extroverted, but when I go to an event, I do feel very overwhelmed and intimidated. Totally. Like, especially when I was with events in LA, I was like, God, who am I? Why am I here? Like, I don't know who to talk to. I'm not good at just like kind of starting conversations. And so when I host event, I'm like making people go meet. I'm at our traveling good events. You got to go meet someone new because I know the depths of loneliness. I'm at an event. And I didn't even want to come to the event because I'm like by myself or I feel awkward. And so trying to like create community and culture where you can leave with new friends. And
there's a lot of friction to like go out into the real world these days. Like, it's so easy to get your dopamine swiping and scrolling from home. And that's why we built Linksy, which is trying to help people get access to, and to reduce that friction, to be able to find people that they want to connect with on aligned interests, or to find events that, are in-person events and are really like opportunities to build community and to find connections. Because that's like, everybody talks about sleep as like the foundational to human health, but I actually believe that it's community and connection and being around people, because that's like the feeling. And that's like where we, go back, getting back to emotions and energy, like where we pull energy from is from others and from the people around us. And so I actually believe that community and connection is foundational to human health. And that's part of what we're trying to help people have the tools to.
Yeah. Science has proven it.
Yeah. Scientists, just co-regulating with someone can be so much more restful than tossing and turning by yourself in bed.
Oh, they've done studies. They literally have done studies where they say, hey, therapy's great. Mm-hmm. Certain medications for certain people is great. But if they were asking these therapists, it was like some sort of study they did, and they asked thousands of therapists, and every therapist said if they can choose one, it would be community.
Social connection
over therapy. Like, even a therapist saying like, hey, the one-on-one's great, social connection is the number one thing they would choose.
Yeah.
And so it's the ultimate medicine. To be in the room, in the spaces. We're hurt, and the reason we are traumatized, like, we're hurt because someone didn't see us, because someone didn't celebrate us, because someone didn't allow us to dance or laugh or ask questions or be weird. So then we are traumatized by that space. So the last thing we want to go do is go heal in groups, but you only heal in groups. And so you go to groups, and when you see people that care and serve and celebrate,
And to your point, I've had the experience too. I've been in a group and I felt lonely. And so having the volunteer experience, like, there's something to do together. We're all engaging in an activity that's already pre-designed. And so you're you feel a sense of belonging because you're doing that. And maybe you're doing that next to someone, not necessarily needing to talk to them. Maybe you don't feel like talking that day, but you're engaging in a similar activity together in a shared experience, and that creates connection.
Yes. Amazing.
Yeah.
So this is what we want to that we are creating and taking on the road, and we're putting all of our powers, all of our resources together, and we can't wait to see who else we magnetize. And it's crazy that no one else is really doing this on like that kind of scale or that kind of level of trying to activate a tour and volunteer work parties. And I don't know.
And I think the purpose of us like sitting down here and talking is we're putting this out into the ether. We're putting this signal out there, and we know that people are craving this. Like this world is so divided, and people are craving in real life connection like we're talking about. And so this is really a invitation to join the movement and to contribute whatever you can. And it doesn't have to be financial. It could be, hey, somebody that can support, or a nonprofit that we can support, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
There's
maybe you work for a company that would give, or maybe this is a team building exercise for your company. Maybe you are a manager of a team, and this would be a great way to have bonding and team building. Go out and volunteer together, and if you also are a product that you think would support. I mean, if we could get some healthy food into these nursing homes, it'd be so great. Some healthy snacks. It's just like any little thing, just find your niche. It's like what you said, you are passionate about this, but you don't have all the tools to make it happen. So let's do this together. And the smallest thing, like maybe you make cookies really well. That could be a contribution, bringing that and feeding the volunteers that are,
that is when the dream will be fulfilled, when we get text messages or DMs from people, #traveling good, and people are going to nursing homes and we're not even there. That's like the real goal. Like someone in Europe, people keep coming, come to Europe. I'm like, you guys have nonprofits and you guys have nursing homes and you guys have, so I think we want to inspire to people to just do it, where it's like, just remind people. And the moment people are like, yo, BC, we're cleaning the beach, traveling good, we're cleaning the beach here, we're planting trees here. We want to create like a univocal message in a home where that is just celebrated and highlighted and encouraged, to where businesses now get involved with nonprofits. Like sooner or later, these millionaires and billionaires, really wealthy people, are going to die, and their kids are going to inherit that. So hopefully their kids have values and systems in place to where the kid is like, oh, wow, I got all this money from my dad's business, but I really want purpose. I really want activation. I want art school for kids, in low-income areas or whatever it is.
There was a time where we didn't understand the mind-body connection, and yoga wasn't a thing, and really working out wasn't there. There wasn't information about that. So I see us helping educate people about the benefit of service, like that is actually, there's health benefits to it. So it is in some ways, it's not just a selfless thing. Like you are getting benefits yourself.
There's something here that it's 100%. Like every single human, I believe every single human, I'm sure you guys would agree that every human has brilliance within them. They have some unique talent, offering, or goodness that they have within them. But it's like a little bit of a framework shift where it's like, I can use my brilliance to make all this money, or to do this, or to, acquire this, or to get what I want. And that's ego. But then if you use your brilliance and you're offering your brilliance to the world in a way that serves others, it's like such like a subtle shift. And that is part of what the Traveling Good is trying to do, is to, inspire and invite people to offer their brilliance to the Traveling Good, or to your local communities around you, to use your brilliance for good. And you have the power. You don't even need the Traveling Good to do that, as long as you have that right shift in how you bring your brilliance to the world.
Yeah. And one of my biggest dreams of Traveling Good is if you are a yoga teacher and you want to come on tour and teach it, if you're a nutritionist and you want to come make smoothies in urban areas that, are food deserts, if you want to...
Yeah, write to us. Let us know.
Yeah, like I truly want to, like, if you have something you want to bring into this world, I want these to be mobile purpose, like movements.
Yeah.
And whatever it is, health is my number. The funny thing is, nutrition and fitness are my top two values, and it's the number one foundation on how I can do everything else. And I never really talk about it. But I would love to do workouts in every city that we go to, where people come and actually move their body. We make smoothie parties. Like, yes, we're volunteering, but then we have like all these smoothies set up, and we're making smoothies for everyone, and people start being inspired to eat healthy and move healthy and serve healthy. And then I think my number one thing is my highest excitement in all this is when you come to these events, whether it's volunteering or dancing, you will meet your soul tribe. You will meet the most amazing friends that don't judge you, that don't critique you, that literally celebrate every aspect of you. And that's my favorite thing is like we would leave a city and I would get DMs from people being like, yo, we're grabbing coffee. We're starting a podcast. We're starting this movement. And so I just know wherever we're coming to, you're going to meet your people. And there's nothing better in the moment of your life when you meet your people. And we met through social media. We met through events. And
this is like, I just find, you know, this has been like 10 years that we've known each other, and there's been, you know, we've done our own things, but lately I've just been really wondering, where are my people? I've traveled all over the country, all over the world, and I still felt the sense of loneliness. And I really started to pray. And I just want to bring prayer in for a moment, because it's not in a religious way at all, but just to ask for, I was asking for help. I was like, help, like, I don't know where to go. And then BC just like starts calling me about the traveling good, shows up at my door, and I just can't emphasize enough the power of prayer and surrender, because none of this, like, the how will work itself out. I did not know how or even where to go. Like, we don't know where this tour is going to take us. We just know our why, and the how and the where will work itself out. And I really believe that, but it does come with a bit of releasing control. And I just want to say, like, the traveling good is going to be what God wants it to be. And we have an idea, and we have an idea, but I know it's going to turn out even better than we can imagine if we can continue to surrender and into the greater good, where you guys come in. It's like all of these ideas that you have, if you have nonprofits, if you have locations, like, please let us know, because there's an openness to trusting the flow and where this good wants to travel to.
Amen. And
I just want to say thank you, BC. You really like impacted me so deeply, because I was running a loneliness, you know, almost stands for addressing loneliness through movement and arts. And I was so lonely. And I never knew that it would be you stepping on my door. You have a family, you're busy, you're this and that. And like, you just never know who's going to come and help and who's going to impact your life. You never know. So I just want to thank you so much.
Yeah. Amen. I think, we're going to hopefully heal an epidemic of loneliness.
And I lost my purpose. I did. I burnt out also because I was doing it alone. And it's like, you cannot do these things alone. So we gotta have each other.
It's way more fun together, and Leo and your expertise of entrepreneurship and the app and the community building.
Thank God for you, Leo.
Because
these are like, everyone has their zone of genius, and please, like, everyone stay in your lane. If you try to like to wear all the hats, you end up burning out. And so I love that you can bring the structure and.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I wish I was better on camera and an amazing storyteller like BC, or just as like, you know, empathetic and really like so smart with how the mind works and how you can really support a lot of people like you do, Julia. But that's your brilliance. And, you know, I've just kind of accumulated some of the skills and experience that I have, and uniquely positioned where I'm at and where I'm sitting within my brilliance. And when you bring all of these brilliant people together, you create an amazing resonance, right? Because the power of 1 + 1 can equal 3. It doesn't have to equal 2, because that's two frequencies coming together to create an even bigger resonance. So what can be the power of 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 could equal huge movement.
Well, I think I know a lot of entrepreneurs. I know a lot of successful business people, but I think your heart separates everyone from anything, you know. And like,
Julia, it exudes out of your eyes.
Dude, Julia and I, we meet enough entrepreneurs and successful business people, and we have friends and we love them to death. But your heart stands out to where you can see something in us that, you know, we live from the heart space, we live from the soul space and the body space, and we live there. We like live in the ether. We wish we can come down sometimes and do what you do, but we just stay in our lane. And then someone like you comes along and you're just like, dang, I see something in both of you that I can actually add structure to, and maybe like this foundation to where you guys can thrive in what you're really good at. And the heaven meets earth kind of thing, where it's like the, you know, fifth dimension, whatever you want to call it. But I think just the way you're holding us in this crazy dream of her passion for community and nonprofits, my passion for storytelling and filmmaking and community building. And so we're like three friends who would have never been friends in maybe in another world, we're from all around, but I think God's bringing us together, and we want people to see themselves in us, that we're all little fringe, we're all little like weird, and we hope that you see that in us, and you see it because you see it in yourself, and that if you feel lonely or you don't belong, reach out to us. And this is
and if you feel lonely and don't belong, pray, be with yourself too, because I think a lot of the time we want to find acceptance and belonging with others, and there is a benefit to that, but I do want to say that sometimes just taking a moment and breathing with yourself and saying hello to yourself, taking a moment to just like hug yourself, be with the inner parts of yourself, it is part of the journey where you magnetize others to you. It's important to remember that, because it might not come right away. BC didn't come right away. Yeah. For years I was in this navigating this space of depression and loneliness, and for years of really a lot of self-love work and sitting with myself, and actually also looking at where am I being a little bit self-absorbed, how can I be more kind to just my neighbor or say hi to someone, like get out of my head. And 4 years of that, and then you show up. So it's a journey, but every step that you take, or just say hi to a neighbor, like it doesn't have to be this grand act. Smile at ask someone how their day is, instead of just going like looking forward into what you have going on. I think those micro moments of connection are also incredibly powerful. It's just, I wanted to bring that up, because you don't have to necessarily go to a nonprofit. Like you can just help your neighbor or say hello to someone.
Amen.
You can create those little ripple effects even from little micro moments like you're talking about. And thank you for saying what you said, BC. I appreciate it, because I think I'm truly like seeking ways to make more impactful ripples, and I really want to help impact and inspire, and I don't have all the tools to do that. You have great tools, and I have great tools. Together we put it in a way that we can make millions of ripples, or even just like one ripple that's super deep and impactful.
Yeah.
And we have all of the tools needed to start making those ripples. Each one of us individually, to your point, Julia, has what it takes to make even small ripples. Yeah. And the more that you show up in a way that I want to create positive ripples in this world, the more good that can be done, and the more that we can actually start to create that good in the world that we're seeking to create.
Yeah. One of my teachers, Annie Lala, I just have to say my favorite line of hers. She has a lot of amazing things that she says, but one of them is, what will get you to sign your name triumphantly at the end of your life? That's what we're working to every single day. Think about, it's your last day. Like you asked me that too. Like, what if December 31st, you're done? What would have you sign your name triumphantly? And I think about that all the time, and now every interaction, like today could be my last day. How can I be a little kinder to someone that I pass by, or to myself, or do something, or donate, or whatever it is? So I love that. And she also mentioned that she was in Vegas once, and she was at that big sphere, and there was this AI like robot, and you could ask it any questions. And she decided to ask it, if you were human, or like what do you most wish you had that humans have that you don't, or what do you wish to understand about humans? And the robot said, I would love to understand more about love. Emotion, that's something that the robots they don't have.
Yeah.
And so let's utilize our superpower of love.
Amen. That's it. That's the goal. Yeah. And I think when I think about like, what if I can, what I want everyone to feel is confident. I want everyone to feel like they can trust themselves. And in your confidence is when you feel like you can trust that you are doing your best, but like, I don't know, just walking through your life where you feel like you're a millionaire already. Like you're buying that person a coffee, and you're complimenting that person's dress, and you're complimenting that woman's hair, and you're helping that old person cross the street. And I think you get that when you find that self-love and that rootedness and knowing who you are, knowing your truth. And I just want everyone to feel that kind of way they navigate, their fragrance of who they are, to leave a room better than how they found it, to leave people better than how they found them. And that is
And that in turn, you will be taken care of.
Amen.
It will come back to you.
Yeah.
Even if you don't feel like you have that much, you have $5 and you give $3, and a millionaire that gives, $1,000, it's the same thing, if not more. To really just trust that the universe has your back. And, I don't want to get too esoteric, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's just like I've seen it in my own experience. Living proof of it.
Yeah. 18 years I've been doing this work, and I people come to me, how did you get this? How did you get this? Like, how did you get to where you're at? And I'm just like, man, I just served. I just always was like, who can I help? Because I was helped, or because I wasn't helped maybe. And so I'm just so honored. I truly feel like the richest person in the world because I have friends, and I know the richest people in the world. I know a lot of wealthy people that do not have someone to call that says, hey, can you help me build a website? Hey, can you help me start this movement? And so I truly feel like the richest person in the world. And that is because I have created myself in a way that can be magnetized to the right people, and I've given a lot to others, and so
we're working on BC to learn how to receive.
I'm learning how to receive.
Now
I give a lot.
We're working on his.
But
receiving.
you both in my life are receiving. So anyway, I'm so honored that you guys are watching this podcast. You know a little bit about my heart, my story, but also Julia and Leo, and we're like I guess like we're the people starting this thing, but we are not the ones finishing it. We're not the ones that might lead it forever, but we know that we're building it, and we know that a lot of young people crave connection and purpose. And I know that if we were 22 years old again, and 23 when you lost your dad, I was 23. I was homeless after I lost my dad for over a year. And so it's like at 23, we both lost our dads. And I can't imagine being 23 years old and an RV pulling into my town to throw a dance party of connection and healing and mental health, connection. And then being like, hey, do you want to come join us and be the videographer? I would have been like, oh my, you guys saved my life. And so I'm creating what I wish existed. I'm sure we all three are. Yeah. And so, it's wild. It's wild.
I actually always said that the wave, the tagline of the wave was dance and make a difference. And my vision was to give back a portion of the proceeds to charities. And for the last 4 years, I failed. I didn't do it. I really wanted, it was in my heart. It was the vision. Yeah. I didn't do it. And it's like, nope, you still have time, and you're going to get help now. And so it's wild to me.
I know, full circle moment.
So keep dreaming, really keep in your heart what you want to do, and really don't give up. And even when you do give up, somehow God just comes in with the right person or the right, pay attention. Guaranteed. Actually read the DM that got you, we think it's junk, but actually maybe not.
Yeah.
I like to think that when you're, what you want to create in this world, or what is in your heart, and then you actually take the action with your brain, you start to live in this brain heart coherence. And then that coherence, we have the 5 physical senses, touch, smell, but there's so many other senses, and it's this manifestation. I believe that manifestation is a sense, and it comes from brain heart coherence. So what you feel inside, then you start to direct yourself to take the action necessary, and then things start to manifest and get magnetized. And so if you got something in your heart, take action on it, and the rest will come.
Amen. So here we are. We are so excited. It is May 22nd, and we are setting this out to the universe, and we're going to finish our fundraising goal, and we're going to hit this tour. And in a year from now, on May 22nd, 2027, we are going to be just laughing and celebrating watching this video and just going, wow, we had no idea what we were going to do. We had no idea what we were doing other than trying to figure it out as we go. So thank you guys for watching. We just hit the hour mark. That was perfect. That was amazing. Send us a message, send us a comment, and stay in touch with us at The Traveling Good. And we hope to see you on the road. We hope to come to your city. We hope to dance with you and celebrate with you. And most importantly, serve with you. So appreciate you guys. Love you all. Peace.